Hey, my fellow Taino tribesmen, it's your boy Nautilus Tribe, and welcome back to another SCP archive. So Green is here with me again. Hello, say hello, Green.
Hey guys.
So, Green, what is the archive that you snuck away this time?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I'm glad that she didn't sneak onto this archive, but today's archive that we will be reviewing today is SCP-085, aka Drawn Cassie.
Oh, Cassie.
Yep, one of the only SCPs I feel sorry for that wasn't due to the Foundation's actions.
Ooh, boy. This is going to be rather interesting.
Agreed.
Alright, just give me the archive.
There you go.
Thank you. Now, I'm just gonna put this here and there we go.
Alright, shall we?
Yep.
Alright, let's do it.
Does life imitate art, or does art imitate life? It's a question that has been asked throughout human history. This philosophical debate is about the ways art either reflects the world around us or influences it. But in the case of SCP-085, the idea of art imitating life takes on a far more literal meaning. This entity was created during an experiment involving two separate SCPs. The first of these was SCP-067, which is a fountain pen that, when held by a user, will take full control of the person's hand and arm. SCP-067 then either writes about or draws something linked to the user holding it. The second of these SCPs was SCP-914, better known as the Clockworks. This massive piece of anomalous machinery will have various effects depending on what
SCP
or who is placed inside of it, and which of its several settings is chosen on the selection panel. After test subject 1101F was given the anomalous fountain pen, the result on the page was a simple female figure, around 6 inches tall and 1.5 inches wide. She was drawn wearing a summer dress with her long hair tied back in a ponytail, and a single word was written underneath her, Cassandra. As part of the experiment, the drawing was placed inside
Cassie is only a nickname.
And the fine setting selected. This is the setting that is known to improve the object placed inside of it in some way. For example, a hunk of steel placed inside will be transformed into a pile of steel carpet tacks, a refined version.
Just don't put a living being in there.
When the drawing was placed inside,
no.
Something truly amazing happened.
It'll become
Cassandra came to life, where she now prefers to be called Cassie.
Really
SCP-085, sometimes known as Drawn Cassie, is a completely sentient being. She is fully able to communicate, however it all has to be done non-verbally. Her voice cannot be heard by anyone beyond the page where she was drawn, but she is able to utilize sign language or create writings on the page in order to communicate with Foundation researchers. SCP-085 has been shown to also be capable of understanding text that is written on the same paper she exists on. She is fully animated, aware of her own existence and the limitations of being two-dimensional in nature. According to profiling conducted by the SCP Foundation, she has her own distinct personality. Cassie is good-natured and agreeable, displaying a natural drive and motivation, but also seems to feel the burden
unless you put another piece of paper close to it.
It should be noted that any and all attempts to recreate the same experiment that formed SCP-085 had failed to create the same or similar results. Tragically, Cassie might be the only one of her kind in existence.
But look at that. Cassie's the only living hand-drawn being, because others...
No wonder she feels so low.
But others never work.
Cassie is limited to her two-dimensional form and has so far been unable to enter our three-dimensional world. She has demonstrated several different abilities on the page. Firstly, she is not solely confined to the same paper she was drawn on. SCP-085 is able
she
to
is a kind-hearted person, I can tell.
If another page is placed flush with hers, she will be able to simply step across onto this new page. However, there is a limit to what kind of page Cassie is able to transfer herself onto. She could easily take a stroll through the pages of today's newspaper, but can't just wander onto someone's family photos or anything made of cardboard, glass, or parchment.
No, it has to be. It has to be strictly paper.
SCP-085 can only exist on paper
strictly
or
paper,
canvas,
no
and
photos,
only when they are directly connected to her original
like
page. According to Foundation testing, this is not exclusive to blank pieces of paper either. If Cassie ever transfers herself onto a page bearing a repeated pattern, like a piece of wallpaper, then she will appear to be in the foreground while everything else on the paper appears to be behind her. SCP-085 will perceive each page she enters as a completely new place. From her point of view, pattern pages seem to be like endless space. Additionally, Cassie can also travel to other pieces of artwork and adopt the same art style of each new environment she appears in. For example, transferring herself onto the pages of a comic book will cause Cassie to be rendered in an artistic manner matching that
You better
of her
hope those manga that you give her are more safer.
Oil painting, watercolor, or charcoal
don't
sketch.
worry, it's only
Interestingly, when appearing in comic book form, Cassie's thoughts and speech are visible through thought bubbles that are commonly used to display text within the comic medium.
Gave her some
size and the angle she is viewed
and
from also changes to match the different panels of the comic page she is on. At one point, SCP-085 was introduced by Foundation personnel to a print copy of Ascending and Descending by the famous Dutch artist M.C. Escher. This painting is of a large building, with its roof consisting of a looped, never-ending staircase. When she transferred onto the print of Escher's painting, SCP-085 curiously explored her new environment and was able to ascend and descend the staircase. The researcher gave Cassie the name of the piece and asked for her thoughts on it. She remarked, "It's pretty, I guess. Would make a neat exercise track." When the researcher asked if she noticed anything inconsistent about the staircase, Cassie replied, "No, as far as I can tell, it just loops around, down, up all the time. Why don't more staircases do that? It's pretty neat." Following this, Cassie directly requested more impossible objects or optical illusions to be drawn onto her page and made part of her environment. Unfortunately, her request is still pending review from the O5 Council. Being able to step from page to page,
the O5 don't know this, but I actually do.
Sheets of paper
secretly
is
give
but
her
one
some
of SCP-085's
with.
unique abilities. She can also interact with other drawn objects on the same page she is on. If someone draws an item of clothing on her page, or a vehicle, even food or drink, then Cassie would be able to wear, use, or consume those. Objects drawn for her behave as if they were real, but only when Cassie is directly interacting with them. The rest of the time, they remain still, just as they were drawn. Once SCP-085 touches them, these items will animate. This same rule even applies to anything drawn to depict something in motion.
So that she doesn't wear the same dress over and over again.
Wind, or the waves of an ocean.
She can.
These will also stay perfectly still.
She can actually
drawn,
wear other
and
clothes
only
and
move
drawn
when acted
for her.
upon by SCP-085. However, much like her ability to transfer
you better draw her some curtains so that you can change behind those curtains.
Limits.
I always do that
with an inanimate object within the real world will provide SCP-085 something that she can directly interact with. But this doesn't appear to be the case for living beings, like another person or an animal that would have its own autonomy and freedom of movement in our three-dimensional reality. Animals and people drawn for Cassie to interact with will remain as static, unmoving drawings, and will not become animated like she is, even if drawn using SCP-067. She cannot impart any of her own sentience or free will onto these drawings, and they remain still.
But it doesn't work like I was shown earlier.
You might think that drawings of other people, whether they are animated or not, might help alleviate Cassie's solitude. But if anything, it just reminds her how alone she is. SCP Foundation researchers have noted that SCP-085 is very friendly towards them and any subjects brought in to conduct
that she gave able to see us outside
from the
of it.
three-dimensional world outside the page she inhabits seems to offer some relief to Cassie's loneliness. Through much of her behavior, she has shown a fascination with our reality, and in particular she has an interest in cars, expressing that she wishes she had an ability to work on them. This desire appears to be completely genuine too, as shown when her photo was taken with SCP-978. The camera that reveals its subject's inner desires.
That one's
and in
a special
Cassie's
one.
case, showed her in a fully realized 3D version of herself working on a car. SCP-085's curiosity about the world beyond the page is most likely due to how different it is from our everyday two-dimensional existence. But on at least one occasion, Cassie's curiosity got the better of her and unintentionally led to a containment breach.
Oh.
From the moment she was first drawn to life, and even after her initial testing with researchers, SCP-085 seemed unaware that she was a two-dimensional being in a three-dimensional world. Foundation security protocols regarding SCP-085 meant that no one on the research team assigned to Cassie was permitted to tell her the truth about her 2D nature. The truth about her existence was kept from her with the best of intentions, as research staff did not want to cause SCP-085 any undue distress or trigger a possible psychological snap. Anything that Cassie raised as an inconsistency or discrepancy within her world on the page was explained by researchers to be the result of her imagination or dreams, and research personnel attempted to convince SCP-085 that she was in a scenario wherein she was the only human survivor, searching for others in a post-apocalyptic environment. However misguided this decision to conceal the truth might have been, it was at least done with Cassie's best interests at heart. But a lie, as they say, is harder to maintain than the truth, and keeping SCP-085 in the dark about her true nature arguably led her to more hardship that may have been avoided if she had been allowed to know the truth. In the incident in question, a Foundation researcher entered the room where the drawing pad that Cassie resides in was found, and they were carrying a paper copy of SCP-085's Special Containment Procedures report. Given that she had already partaken in tests where she had transferred herself to other paper and canvas surfaces, Cassie assumed that this file was yet another new environment for her to explore. The researcher allowed SCP-085 to make direct contact with the report, and she was able to transfer over to the document before the researcher realized.
So that's what happened.
Whether this occurred accidentally or if this researcher intended to confront Cassie with the truth about what she was, is unknown. Nevertheless, Cassie found herself on the pages of her own SCP Foundation file.
So that's where everything went downhill.
The research staff had conducted
that idiot.
A description of how she had first been drawn by SCP-067 and brought to life by SCP-914, all clear as day, in black and white. Cassie's own true nature was presented to her. Immediately, the yarns that Foundation researchers had spun about her surviving an apocalypse began to unravel. It was all a lie, meant to keep her in the dark and prevent her from ever knowing that she was trapped in two dimensions. She returned to her original page shortly later, but the damage was already done. Due to her having breached containment and briefly escaped into her own file, a number of Foundation researchers proposed that SCP-085 be destroyed. There was always a risk of this happening again. What would happen if Cassie unwittingly found herself inside another file, with access to more of the Foundation's sensitive information? However, the O5 Council decreed that SCP-085 was not to be terminated, allowing Cassie to continue to exist despite the breach. Ever since she learned the truth about herself, signs of depression have begun to manifest in her behavior. Finding out you are a drawing trapped in two dimensions with no chance of ever having someone else for company would be enough to crush anyone's spirit. But luckily, researchers have since managed to uplift Cassie a little and offer her a welcome distraction from her unfortunate revelation. The optical illusions like the never-ending staircase she requested were quickly drawn into her environment. Additionally, given the interest she had shown in a technical drawing of a 1964 Ford Mustang convertible, SCP-085 had been allowed to assemble a car of her own. By transferring each individual component of the car from the blueprint to her page,
having to draw
Drawn Cassie had been gradually building her very own Mustang to keep herself preoccupied from her life and emotion. And in the end, if she can distract herself and find that tiny bit of happiness,
it's like a puzzle game.
Isn't that all that matters? In a sense, we're all trapped within our own dimension. Cassie in her 2D one, us in our 3D world, filling our lives with hobbies and entertainment, all in an effort to make sure that we never tug too hard at the threads of our reality and find out there just might be much more out there that we're missing. Now check out SCP-999 the Tickle Monster and SCP-5094 Miss J's Whiz Kids Schoolhouse for more surprisingly wholesome anomalies.
That brought back memories.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Cassie. Like I said, I try my best to give her new things to interact with. Like I draw some things onto her paper. I give her some mangas she can go through. I've even tried little coloring books and comics.
and who, the moron who made that error.
Oh, I stank up his workspace. I stank it up. As payback for that.
Now, and I'm gonna be wondering who's the one who requested the termination thing.
I may need to do some digging myself. So, thoughts on this one?
Well, now I know why things went downhill for her, because honestly, that girl needed some encouragement.
Agreed. You definitely needed it.
Well, so yeah, that was Cassie, a good friend of ours, a sweet, kind girl actually.
Yeah, she's really sweet. Really nice to talk to.
Mm-hmm. But now I feel like I want to go over there and hug her again.
Well, not that we can.
Yeah. But at least we can now do more conversation with her.
Yeah.
Well, that was it for today's SCP archive, folks. And I hope you guys will take in this knowledge, because seriously, these guys, even though I know that they're trying to go for a good cause, keeping the world out of the loop with this is even though it's safety measures, they have to at least know about these things, because what if it suddenly happen when you're on the loop and you find something that can actually kill you or it can actually or hurt you or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna go now. Get this archive back to the archives folder, so that before they notice that it's gone. So
Yeah, we better hurry, and just in case, I'm gonna take one quick look and see if Cassie's in there. You go ahead and wrap things up.
all right. Well, yeah. I hope you guys enjoy this, and make sure you leave a what?
Sorry, one moment.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe for the notification for more content in the future, and subscribe to Green over here, because he also makes amazing content on his channel. It'll be in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next SCP archives. Until then, farewell, my fellow Taino tribesmen.
See you guys later. She's not in there. Good.